Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to NECC for some more exciting Rocket League action. We've had quite the night of Rocket League action for you here already. That last series going to a Game 5 decider. So hopefully we have some more of that for you tonight. We should. A couple of absolute banger matchups here. Alabama Huntsville versus Boise State, Division 1. Both these teams, heavy headers. I'm going to be your color commentator for tonight. My name is Lars Newt, and joining me here in the casting booth for this next series is going to be Stage for your play-by-play. Stage, what are you excited about in this upcoming series?
So the first thing that I'm excited about is the fact that this is our first Division 1 game tonight. So we're going to have the opportunity, again, Alabama Huntsville and Boise State, two massive teams completely sweeping their way through the placements. And I feel like when you get a clash of the Titans at the first week of an event like this, that just sets the tone for everything that you're going to be firing out the entire season long.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it really, when it comes to collegiate Rocket League, the big thing to note here is this is real deal. A lot of collegiate teams are also pro teams, and Alabama, Huntsville, Boise State right up there in that same kind of skill range. So this isn't removed from RLCS. We're right at that skill level. So make sure, if you're not already following the channel, that you hit a follow, because we are bringing you all kinds of collegiate action going forward through this series. But let's talk a little bit about this series specifically, Alabama Huntsville versus Boise State. Both these teams, like you said, didn't drop a single series during their ranking matchups. Alabama Huntsville dropped a single game to Kansas Wesleyan, and Boise State dropped one to Fresno State and one to the University of Montana. So just based off of kind of what you're seeing there, what is your gut feeling for what we're going to see in the gameplay style and the score lines and everything? Stage, walk me through how this whole series is going to go.
So one of the things that I think is really important to think about, though, when you talk about placements is, again, in collegiate Rocket League, there is a really high standard. You do get some fantastic players, but you've also got to think, too, though, about, like, when you have a university that has a thriving esports program, you're going to have universities that have 2-3 teams, and you've got to figure out, how do I develop my players into these teams so we have the best possibility of winning in our divisions? The reason I bring this up, Boise State is their #1 roster. So this is the team that we're going to be seeing here, and one of the only teams that they dropped a game to was Fresno State's also #1 roster. Now, Alabama Huntsville, if we look at their record, they've also played against Fresno State in those placements, but they played against the #2 and the #3 teams. So I'm not saying that you're dealing with subpar talent. I'm saying that when you have a collegiate team, you want to stack a team so you pull in those W's, so you pull in the wins. And because of the fact that we're seeing that the only thing that Boise State 1 dropped to was these A-tier teams, the A-list teams from these universities, I think we're going to have an absolute banger of a series. I think that there's no telling in terms of raw talent who's going to take this out just from the records.
Well, the only way to determine who's going to come out the victor in this series is to go ahead and play it. See these teams match up head to head. And as we get into game #1, again, we're hoping for another Game 5 decider, just like that last series, and just expect a lot of high-flying, quick action. Game #1, 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get it done.
Taking the way on the kickoff, Cosmo Buster getting a decent start, floating in towards defense of the backboard by Aurora. Decent pass out to X, and X is going to try to hold the line. Baynock coming in over top, pass booming out towards Ace Pocket. Not able to pick it up, but a good positional play from BSU is going to let them hold the line here, and Boise State trying to keep this away, getting a great clear downfield, forcing Alabama Huntsville to play a little bit of defensive ball.
What I like to see so far here is we've gotten control and transitions out of both teams. We've gotten a good look at both defensive ends and some midfield defense, trying to keep that ball contained both ways. But here's Cosmo Buster. Doesn't get the look to get that one center. He's going to send this one center in to Ace Pocket here, but it won't be a good threat towards the net. Now with Alabama going back the other way. Like I said, we got good contained, good pressure both ways, and good transition plays. Here's another one with an opportunity. That one's all the way down and touched wide. I can't even get my point out. We're getting really good looks back down on each net.
One of the things I love to see already out of these players is the way that they're playing the vision with each other in terms of where you're getting these passes to connect, in terms of where you're cutting the passes out on just reading the plays. Josh picking this one up off of the send all the way downfield. Cosmo reading that out and not allowing the pass to capitalize at all. Almost taking that shot. X has to return it, and now X all the way downfield in a 1-on-3 situation. Does look like Alabama Huntsville's going to be able to hold this one for now, though, and Aurora rips off the backboard, gets a huge set in place. X with the shot just off the crossbar. That was a flick. We'd call it an Athena flick here.
What I like to see about these teams as well is kind of this flow back and forth. But speaking of flow, X is going to take advantage of that flow downfield. Can't quite find it in the defensive end. Cosmo Buster just beat over the top, and we open up this series a minute and 49 seconds into the advantage of Alabama.
I love seeing a play like that, just kind of the casual beat, and again, taking advantage of the early aggression that we're seeing from Boise, and both these teams just trying to cut their rotations quickly, trying to get out in front of the passes. Aurora meeting it successfully there. But when you manage to get the early challenge, you can punish that aggressive play like we saw in that first goal. Here, moving out of the backfield, Josh beating one, gets challenged by Cosmo Buster, and X has to pick it up on the back line. Boise State struggling to take it out of their backfield, but Aurora will move this one forward, off the ceiling even. Cosmo Buster is there to hold on to the back line. X putting more pressure out, possibly a center ball from Josh, and this is awkward. Baynock has to pop it to Cosmo, and X still holding it out for Boise State. Or not for Boise, I'm sorry, for Alabama Huntsville. Alabama very much on the aggressive here. The contain is flawless.
They've done a great job keeping this ball out of the threatening shooting lanes in front of their net as Baynock tries to get this one over top for a pass, and Aurora once again meeting that one high, and they do such a great job of challenging these opportunities early. They're not allowing these passing plays, these aggressive upfield plays to develop into real effective threats on the net. Now Boise needs to find a way to open up those shooting lanes, find a way to take advantage, and a big bump there, possibly saving a shot, but here's Aurora off the top and touched away by Cosmo. Cosmo picking up their first savior of the series.
X trying to challenge this one out, gets beat over top. Aurora is in front of the net still. Baynock not getting the chance to come away with this one just yet. Off the backboard, Baynock once more in position. Josh defending well though, and it looks like Alabama Huntsville going to get the solid clear downfield. Cosmo Buster has to defend his backboard out to Baynock. Baynock pops this one to himself, but not able to get in front of it just yet. X sends it downfield, scoring opportunity. Cosmo Buster with a fadeaway save. He's very happy with that one. Maintains control, maintains boost, and out to Baynock. His team is holding on to the presence even in their own backfield as Boise State struggling to try to find any kind of offensive pressure and get an equalizer.
Something I started to talk about earlier before I was interrupted by that first goal of the series here, and still no one answering back, but it's interesting to see these teams kind of flow and kind of breathe as a team as they function. They sit in and out and in and out. Speaking of almost in, Josh almost manages to dunk that one over the top. But if you watch these players, they're spacing on the field as a team. Collectively, they tend to tighten up and then space out. Tighten up and space out. It's almost as if the team's breathing. It has everything to do with pace of play. That one, ace pocket into the top pocket. We're tied back up, 31 to go.
Ace is coming over top to finish this one off. Beautiful infield pass. Aurora wanted to be there, had the pace for it, but couldn't beat the dunk. Now, moving out of this equalizer, I'd love to see Boise State really start putting the pressure on, getting some more of those passing plays, but Alabama Huntsville doing such a great job of cutting this out. A bit of a whiff midfield, where we call it a fake sometimes. Cosmo Buster holding it, just delaying for a moment. Nice pop off the pinch to try and set, but there is nobody there to handle it, and X will be putting the pressure downfield for his own team. Alabama Huntsville, one more opportunity, is going to be going towards their own net. And, oh, what a save off the backboard to save the overtime and bring us into extension time.
We asked for a close series, and what a good start. Overtime in game number one, 1-1. Both these teams have found a way to find the back of the net, but neither can do it consistently. So far, I feel, though, that Alabama has found better looks, better pressure down towards that. As another one off the backboard, X with a shot, touched away by Baynock, and Boise still needs to find a way to get an effective challenge down the middle of the field, get into that shooting lane, and really punish Alabama as Alabama continues to attack that Boise backboard.
Talking about the attack, though, that pinch from Boise is going to send that deep into Alabama's territory. No flip reset for X, and that means Ace Pocket gets one play that's easily defended, and Josh going to try to dribble it downfield. A little bit of that tight clustering breathing that you're talking about. Feels like an inhale for Alabama Huntsville, and now they exhale as they spread out downfield. What a save by Cosmo Buster, breaking up the offensive opportunity. X.
I know you could see the face here, and that most people can't, but that save there, that little bit of backflip bicycle kick to keep it away. As Alabama continues to come downfield like a train, just full head of steam attacking that back net. But it's when you get that ball that close, it's so threatening. Now 12 boost center pass, Baynock over the top, that's off the crossbar, and just out a beautiful look. The action's too fast. I can't get a point out because these teams are doing such an excellent job of finding ways to attack. Ace Pocket once again taking another shot.
Like you said, these teams have such creative attacking opportunities. I love the way they're slowing this down, actually. Josh trying to rush the issue, but a lot of the success that we've seen from them so far has been taking the ball at a little bit of a more deliberate pace. Cosmo Buster whipping that out and leaving an opportunity for Josh. Josh takes the shot, and the bump in the backfield from X puts it away.
That is a beautiful way to open up the net here. Josh from the midfield. It's a great accurate shot in that top corner, but that bump play is so critical. It's so big to be able to get up in your opponent's face, to be able to challenge the defenders and be able to take away their ability to defend at all. It's very hard to defend when you're being bumped out of position. I do want to talk a little bit about our score lines and look at these shots on net. We have 13 shots on net for Alabama to 8, caster math, for Boise State here. And on the one hand, that's a great showing out of both teams. 8 shots on net is a good look for a team in the offensive end. That means they're getting good pressure downfield, but they're still got outshot by 5 shots. That's a huge margin. And when you have that kind of disparity, it's not super surprising, even as this game was, to see Alabama walk away with the victory.
And I think that a lot of that does come down to just the recognition that it felt like the University of Alabama from Huntsville was just playing so much looser, so much quicker to the ball. Boise State wanted to make these passing plays. They wanted to be playing much more as a team, and everything was just getting cut apart. A hot knife through butter from UAH.
Yeah, the thing to look at here, you talked about jumping those passing lanes, being aggressive upfield and getting up in the face of the opponents. That way Boise, again, got 8 shots on net, but a lot of them weren't very threatening because so many of them were cut early. They didn't get good looks on the net, and that's Aurora particularly stood out to me, getting up fast to those challenges. At no point did Boise have a lot of space and room to maneuver in. At this level of gameplay, it's so critical to be able to set up plays. And even for players this talented, it's difficult to find the time and spacing to do that. So if you can get up in their face, they still have to take time. There's some minimum amount of time they need to set up, jump that, get in the way, just like Alabama's been doing. And you're going to be very, very effective in the defensive end.
Now, I'm wondering myself, though, if I'm on the side of Boise State, what's my answer to that? Do we just need to start playing faster? Do we need to start challenging those earlier? Do we need to start sending someone downfield to get these bump plays out, ruin the launches? Do we have to make more solo plays? What is the answer to have the strategic impact to ruin this style of play that is just really coming out and making life difficult?
I hate to say it, but I think the answer is actually going to be to slow the ball down. And I know that's crazy to hear me say because you talk about it all the time. Faster, 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 get up in the face, be able to make transitions fast and effectively. But you have to do it with control of the ball. And right now, everybody's already moving so fast, it's going to be borderline impossible to up the ante enough when it comes to speed to be able to take advantage of the other team purely by outspeeding your opponent. So if you could slow the ball down a little bit, maybe you could take advantage of being able to keep the ball a little bit closer, not allow those passing lanes to get jumped if you're just not making those passes. And I'm not trying to knock passes. I'm saying take the time, keep the ball close, maybe bait a defender out, and then after you win a 50 or you dribble down the field for a second, you can look for more open passing lanes as the defense isn't able to just haul to the ball all the time.
I do like that idea, and we were seeing a lot of that too in the successful offense from Boise State, was taking kind of the more tempo approach to it, taking the slow roll, getting the catch on the ball, keeping it closer to you so you're not just looking to dish immediately when you get the touch. But with that in mind, I think we're going to be moving into game 2 shortly. It looks like we were just having a bit of a technical kerfuffle, but now we have everybody ready to go. And I'm excited to see the way this one plays out, Lars.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see if these teams fall back on some of those old strategies, or if we see one of those things that these high-level teams are so known for, quick shifts in strategy, and the double commit in the defensive end. Gets that one clear, but you're going to have to watch out for that, as Boise needs, but without making those critical decision-making errors.
All right. Josh looking for the shot, not quite able to cherry pick that one away. Cosmo Buster starts the clear, but Aurora is fast to it again. Oh, Baynock! What a pass, what a catch. Just redirecting that one in. We talk about tempo, you talk about speed. Look no further than that shot.
I said it was going to be hard to outpace and outspeed to get the advantage, but if you're going to do it, that's exactly the way to do it. These teams like to be aggressive upfield, get them upfield, and hit that quick 1-2 back at the net off that side wall there, and Boise finds themselves in the lead for the first time this series.
Alabama Huntsville a little bit contracted there, but quickly spreading out. Cosmo Buster, long shot in, defended on the backboard by Aurora. Once again, quick to the ball. X with a 50-50 out towards Josh, but he's got to play back a little bit. A beautiful air stall, and that means that Boise State is going to manage to hold their defensive line for the moment. X still holding it at midfield, out to Josh. Josh sets it down, and Boise State gets their opportunity, but everything is just getting intercepted by Aurora. Even the bump play. Oh my lord, these rotations from Alabama Huntsville.
They're so fast to the ball. They do such a good job managing their field, managing their spacing on the field. And that's such a difficult 50 on the defensive side, because if you don't get that ball sent all the way upfield, it can go one of 3 directions, either into your corner and then bounce to center, into your wall and then bounce to center, or directly towards the net. Either way, it catches Boise out of position, and now we're tied up faster than we got even the first goal of game number 1.
Out of the corner, Ace Pocket starting to move this one away. Gets a great 50 there as well. A little bit of opportunity, but it's going to roll up to the back wall. And Aurora once again fast to it. The huge pinch downfield. Cosmo Buster takes it, trying to contest to it early. And Aurora cutting off the angles, forcing to go infield. And oh, what a save by Aurora on his own team. Not getting quite the redirect. X puts it away though.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, but that's so unfortunate. Aurora, I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, hey, that's going to go wide post. We need just one more touch, and it leaves Baynock in a very awkward position trying to defend that 3v1 by themselves, and it really just opens up one of my favorite ways to attack the net and get goal-scoring opportunities here. And we saw it exampled there in kind of an extreme scenario of the 3v1, but it still works even in a 3v3, and it's not attacking the net directly. It's attacking that back wall, getting shooting opportunity after shooting opportunity, and Ace Pocket only needs one to find that one.
Yeah, you talk about just trying to open up, trying to stretch the zone defense, but all you need to do is establish threat. Ace Pocket there, drilling it forward, beating out 2 defenders with just a quick interrupt of the tempo that Alabama was trying to set up. Alabama off a kickoff. Josh giving up possession back towards Aurora into EX, and X boomer downfield. He's going to take that a full court shot.
I love to see series like this because it's such a change of pace, and it keeps it exciting. It keeps things back and forth. Where game number 1 was all about that slugfest back and forth, those defensive stands, that huge defensive effort. We saw, I think, 15 or 16 saves in that game. It was incredible. Here in game number 2, it's a track meet. We're just over 2 minutes in. We've already got 5 goals, and the teams, they're still even. They're still competitive with each other, but now it's all about who can score faster. We're looking for another one here for Alabama, but touched away.
The creative angles that I am seeing from Alabama here are absolutely absurd. This might be an opportunity, though. Double commit in the air from Boise State. But no, these creative angles from Alabama are just so ridiculous. They're playing out of the corners. They're playing the pinches. They're playing the aggressive angles that you never expect. And there, Aurora just personifying that, getting a booming shot out of the outer third.
This is such dangerous territory for Boise here. They need to find a way to stop this momentum quickly. We've seen now 2 in a row to the advantage of Alabama, and now that they've doubled up their lead, they've got double the number of points that Boise does. If Boise doesn't find a way to shut this down, we're still in track meet. We're still running back and forth. They need to find a way to swing that momentum back in their favor, pick up a goal quickly here, and be able to bring this one back under control.
You talked before about needing to slow the tempo down, and I think we're really seeing that. Ace Pocket getting a little bit of control, putting it in towards net. The entirety of Alabama Huntsville going to save that one away, though, setting it immediately downfield, and this tempo is so hard to handle. Josh gets the dribble, but immediately broken up by Ace Pocket. Ace Pocket playing fast, leading Cosmo Buster, get the control, a beautiful landing to the wall, pass infield, but nobody home to pick it up. Baynock just barely off target. Ace Pocket setting once more, but X is home, and Alabama Huntsville will get this out of their own territory for the moment.
I like to see this back and forth. We've developed a little bit more control game, as that's a lack of control there that leaves that one in the middle, but X can't quite find the touch. Now Ace Pocket down the other way kind of throws that one away. As I was complimenting the control game here, it's so critical to keep that ball close, how fast these teams transition. If you get that ball and immediately dump it down to your opponents, all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot.
All you're doing is shooting yourself in your own net with the amount of shots and the variety that we're seeing here. Off the ceiling with a little bit of bump play, but no boost, no follow-up, and that means that Cosmo Buster is going to get the opportunity from downtown, setting this one up, looks for the double touch, but broken up. An amazing read by Josh to save that. Or off his own backboard as well. Getting a little bit of the fancy footwork, just the fancy flying to try and follow that up, set up the little bit of pressure. But Josh just again touching in the midfield. A lot of the back and forth and Nuckenberger plays that are actually jockeying for position. Buster sends it up midfield, and this time the pass inbound, intercepted by Baynock. So Boise State starts the offensive, a shot infield, and lands right in the upper 90. That jockeying for position, Ace Pocket will finish off here.
Well, I sure hope this isn't too late, but 30 seconds is plenty of time to pick up one more goal to at least force the overtime decision here. Now, as we get down to the last 30 seconds, this is a tough spot for Boise. You're already down in the series, you're down in the game, and we're ticking down the last few seconds on the clock. You need to find some magic fast here. Now is not the time to play conservative. Now is the time to attack, and try to tie this one back up. And then, when you get into overtime, you could slow down a little bit and say, hey, let's not get beat over the backside.
Ace Pocket playing that one very fast, gets a very quick challenge as well, but Aurora into X. This is just the classic combo we're seeing out of University of Alabama Huntsville. And I think they might even get one more as the own goal comes out. And Alabama Huntsville will close out game 2.
That's a good showing from Alabama. We started with that track meet back and forth, very fast transitions, lots of shots on net, lots of aggression, lots of attacking, and you can see where that ended up. When you get that aggressive, you start to leave some vulnerabilities on the backside. We saw 4 goals in very, very rapid succession in the front half of that game. As these teams started to settle in, Alabama got that 2-goal advantage, and they said, hey, we don't need to be as aggressive. We don't need to be over the top, but they stayed fast. They stayed in the face of Boise State. Boise State, I think, a little bit of panic ball, I have to say. They spent a lot of time. They got control in space with the ball, and then would throw a flick downfield with a low probability on net and just hand the ball back to Alabama. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, speed is important, but that is where you need to be slowing down, taking control of that ball, keeping it close, and really, really focusing on how you're attacking downfield.
Lars, I think of it as deliberate speed. You can't just be fast. You can't just be at the ball first. Every touch you have has a meaning. It's like a conversation. And sometimes you got to go really fast and really excited. And sometimes you got to just take it easy. Really drive the points home that are going to let you put the ball into open field where nobody on your opponent team can handle it.
Absolutely. We did talk a little bit earlier about how one of my favorite ways to attack the net, attacking that backboard, not exactly attacking the net necessarily, but attacking the backboard, because it forces a response out of the defense. And if you can get quick, repeated aggression, that comes back down to having fast rotations to be able to maintain that pressure and be able to rapidly get to that ball and put shots generally in the vicinity of the net. Eventually, you're going to open up an opportunity to take shots. But something both of these teams are doing really, really well is defending that backboard. It's a very difficult strategy. I like it, but it's very difficult against these teams because they do such a good job of, oh, you attack that back wall, let me clear this off to the corner on that first touch and not give you the follow-up opportunity.
And when you play those corners too, the corner inbound, it is so hard to read from the backboard, which really just shows you how good these players are. Baynock trapping on the corner, not even letting that corner ball start, but X getting a nice little trap out to himself. He's going to try and put the pressure on, but Ace Pocket is right there. So aggressive. Ace Pocket has been spearheading the aggression for BSU this game, and this is no exception. Baynock with a little bit of a pass infield, sent up to the corner, but Aurora with the control off the ceiling, even the last scotch of his boost, and losing it out here. But that does force BSU into their own side, trying to clear it away. Cosmo Buster, the defensive rock for BSU, trying to send it downfield. In fact, he's got a little bit of action that he's going to play. Off to Baynock, no double touch yet. One more to Ace Pocket, but nothing turning up just yet.
So far, some good pressure from both ends of the field, but we need to find good looks, things that actually threaten the net. That comes down to getting the ball in the shooting lane. What a redirect out! It's just the corner there. Can't quite find it. And it would just another huge save on the side of Boise. They need to get this ball clear, though, before it finds the back of the net, and it does. Aurora for the first one of game number 3.
I don't know if it's luck, I don't know if it's serendipity, I don't know if it's skill or positioning, but I thought that Boise State had the impenetrable defense, even blocking that insane pinch, but finally something leaks through, and Alabama Huntsville does take the lead with that shot. Now, Alabama trying to widen the gap even more. Beautiful high-tempo play off the wall. X knocking that one in to widen the gap a little bit more.
I hope this is not the end for Boise State here. They're already down 2 in the series. One more to the advantage of blue here, and this is game over. So they need to get this game back under control. We talk a lot about momentum and psychology of these players as they go through this series. And being down by more than 1 goal puts a ton of pressure. I think they really need to find a goal, hopefully in the next minute or so before halftime, to at least get themselves back in this game, alleviate some of that pressure of being down, allow them to re-attack a little bit more methodically.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things that I can think of right now is the morale factor is so important to this game. On paper, there's absolutely no momentum in Rocket League, but in terms of games, you will see the score get run up in one game, and then the next be a completely different team that you're dealing with. A little bit of friendly fire there from BSU, kind of showing that morale factor, in fact, as Aurora burning out everybody, looking for the double touch, gets it infield, and X finishing it off. Some high-flying styling to really put the pressure onto BSU.
We asked for a goal out of Boise, and UAH is listening. If Boise is not, they pick up another one here, and now with just under 3 minutes remaining in this game, that is still plenty of time for Boise State to be able to pick up another couple of goals here and try to get this one back under control. But as time goes on, it slips further and further away, almost with Josh getting another here. And it just looks like UAH has absolute control. They're able to touch this ball up and down the field, maintain good control. That's a good demo over the center, and just can't quite find it as Josh, again, picking up another one here.
Lars, we asked for a goal from BSU, and what we got is a statement from Alabama Huntsville. But Cosmo Buster is ready to interrupt that. Nice little 50 from BSU, but they still can't get it out of their own half. Up to Baynock. Baynock trying to get the passing plays out there. Great play from Cosmo Buster, but even then, this looks like it's going to be a clear again. X getting a little bit of a clumsy touch, and this could be an opportunity, but nobody is in space for BSU to take that shot, and it does look like Alabama Huntsville are just controlling this entire pitch from left to right, from front to back. There is nowhere that they cannot handle.
Well, that's the big thing that I'm noticing here is UAH does such a good job controlling the ball. Aurora with an opportunity, but it bounces up instead of out. That's going to be awkward to finish off. Baynock able to clear that one away. But that's something that I'm noticing out of UAH here is they do such a good job controlling the ball and just make sure every touch goes from UAH to UAH, blue to blue, that it spends so much energy and so much effort out of Boise State to just get that ball touched clear that they don't have somebody in position to follow it up. Everything went to just taking away control, and it's not allowing them to get good follow-up shots and good attacks down towards UAH's net.
I think we're seeing a little bit more confidence and almost styling out of the side of UAH there. It looked like Aurora was attempting a musty for a shot, but In this case, I mean, Boise trying to open that up a little bit. The demo is unfortunately going to arrest their development of this play. And now, time ticking down to the last minute. This is just looking really, really difficult. Josh still taking control, even his own teammate. Aurora with the tempo. Oh, high out of the corner, off the ceiling, and spikes that down for the goal.
That's such a dangerous position to be in as defenders. When you have an attacker coming down off the ceiling, they're behind the ball, they have their flip, they have every chance in the world to decide when to attack that net. And really the way to break that up is to have, you saw we had 2 Boise players back at the back wall ready to defend. You have to have one person commit immediately to try to take that one away from that attacking player, maybe get an advantage on it before they can set up their last flick or their last flip into that ball. And even if they don't, if they get beat, now you have taken the control of the ball away and you allow that follow-up defender to touch it away.
Lars, I love the clinical approach to it, but I think it might be a little bit too little too late. X even trying the air dribble. This is definitely style time as Aurora upper 90 shot barely saved by BSU. But BSU, their time is ticking down. Their life in this series is ticking away. And I feel like we may have ourselves a victor here in UAH.
Not just a victor, but a victor in a solid sweep. Finally even finishing with the shutout in game number 3 here. That is a commanding statement out of UAH here. Coming into this series as one of the 2 undefeated teams. I'm presuming there's more, but one of 2... both undefeated, caster brain. 2 undefeated teams coming into this series. They both stood very well at the kind of the top at Division 1. They did a great job playing in throughout those rank-in matches that we held a little while back. And for UAH to come out here and sweep, capping it with that 4-0 shutout, it is a statement going forward in this season. Looking down, if you're one of these players that are coming into this and you're looking at the fallout of this series, you really want to study this tape. Look back. What did UAH do and how can you break it up? Where did BSU find success and where did they not? Oh boy. Okay, so statement. I don't know if you can hear our producer in the background, but another note to be seen here is UAH was playing on 100 ping that entire series. They had quite a disadvantage when it comes to the pace of play here. The fact that they were able to do this on 100 ping, if they find themselves some good servers, they're going to be extra dangerous going forward. As far as who do we want to get for a post-game interview here, I think the name that sticks out to me has got to be Aurora. Aurora has been jumping out of the screen at me this entire series, doing such a good job of challenging those offensive plays, of getting up in the way of those passing plays, and then be able to transition back the other way and find a way to get an attack on the net themselves.
Lars, the big question that I have about Aurora is I really hope they speak slower than they play, because otherwise I will not be able to understand them.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Well, we work on getting Aurora into here. I think the big note of this series, like I said, is the pace of play UAH was able to bring to the game here. They played so fast, but they did it in a controlled manner. Like you said, I believe it was in the middle of game number 3. It's like a conversation. It's every touch means something. Every touch has to have purpose and how you send it back and forth and the pace that you send it back and forth. And as you play faster, you tend to make more mistakes, both as an individual and as a team. You make mechanical errors because you're working so hard to get down towards that ball, to get that touch just in general, let alone get it accurately where you need to be. And then as a team, you're trying to make decisions so fast. It's hard to calm everything. It's hard to know where your teammates are going to be. You make a lot of decisions that don't work as well in that kind of timing, but UAH did such an excellent job of making it work. They were able to outpace Boise State, bring incredible pressure down the field, put them on the back foot, and do it clinically, able to make those passes work, able to manage their spacing on their field. I don't think I saw a single double commit, maybe one out of UAH through the entire series.
I think they were more of like the intentional double commits of, okay, I'm not necessarily sure if you can make it there, but Lars, it looks like we've got Aurora here in the booth with us. Welcome, Aurora. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
I
Excellent. We had an absolute banger of a series to cast with you guys. I know you took it in the sweep, but you did it in such a fun fashion. It was a lot of fun to cast. It was a lot of fun to watch. And like I said, before we brought you up here, the thing that really got me was your ability to jump those passing lanes, your ability to get up in the face of your opponents. The thing I kind of want to know is coming into this matchup, was that something you guys discussed as a team as, hey, we need to be aggressive, cut off those shooting opportunities, or is that just kind of typical play style for UAH?
Well, for me and Ben, we've kind of been the duo together since we started going to college together. And then we did play with Taka, who's our coach now, and he played third man. And now Josh plays just like I play. So once Josh started being on the team, we've become a very aggressive team. And so I would say so, yeah.
Now, is that the kind of thing too that's like the way that you play in pubs, and does it tend to backfire on you, or is that something that you have a lot of success in?
It tends to backfire when we play a team that we've never played before, and also if a team's very patient, because that causes us to kind of play the opposite of the way we normally play. But towards the second game, in the end, even X was saying that we just need to play patient and just keep control of the ball since we were able to score like that. So
It was definitely noticeable throughout the end of the series there, is you guys did such an excellent job controlling the ball. Boise State had to spend so much energy just trying to take the ball away from you guys that they weren't able to follow it up ever. And you guys up and down the field, defensive end, offensive end, were able to just pass so clinically. And I think we kind of asked in the series, Boise, slow down a little bit, be a little more patient and maintain control. But with the way you guys brought so much speed and pressure, I think it just brings a huge mental game to what's going on here.
Now, one of the things I've got to ask too is, and I'm not looking to call out any universities, but I know that the collegiate scene tends to be a little bit tighter. Like, it's the kind of thing where you play against universities in multiple different events. You'll see them more often, or even just across seasons in like the NECC. So, do you have any upcoming matches that you're thinking about, or any universities or teams that you have that you're particularly nervous about playing?
the only team the only team that we really got our eyes set on is just Durham, because I realized that they were the champions last season, and I think that we're definitely contenders with them. So I'm just excited to be able to play them.
Well, after watching this series with you guys, I think you have you have a good argument as to why you guys would be absolute contenders with them. The speed and aggression that you brought to this game and the control, I think, is the big key. Is you were to play that fast and play in control.
So, I guess one of the other things too that I want to ask, and this is just for you, Aurora, in particular, if there's other collegiate or non-collegiate players who are looking at this game and saying, "I want to play like this guy." What do you think is like the big training tip that you can have for somebody who wants to step up to your level?
I would say you can't give up. I have about 5 years, 7,000 hours. I've played in a plethora of high tournaments against high teams, and it can be. It's when I go into a tournament with higher players, immediately I'm like, yes, like I get to play higher players now. But it can definitely be one of the worst mental problems when you lose to those players and you think that you're never going to be there. You have to keep on going. No, you're fine.
Well, I can definitely relate to that feeling, being significantly worse at this game than you are, of hitting those walls, of hitting, I don't really want to play anymore because it just doesn't feel as good because you don't feel like you're advancing at the rate that you want to. But you have obviously found a way to make it work. And 5,000 hours, let's go really high level. What has kept you coming back after 5,000 hours and after taking, some hard knocks on the nose before we send off to our break here?
I would say seeing my own progression. Players get so wrapped up in looking at other people's the way that other people are succeeding, and they compare themselves to other players when you have to compare yourself to how good did I play last week to now. So.
Well, that is some wonderful insight from Aurora. I expected to be sitting here talking about the series, and we're getting some existential insight here from Aurora. Well, congratulations on your big sweep over Boise State. That was definitely a team to be looking at coming into this series. And I think they still are, but man, did you guys put on a clinic. So congratulations again. Go have fun, celebrate with your team, and maybe go sweep some ranked matches as well. But we need to get on our way to our intermission here. We have more Rocket League action for you coming up. I am Lars Newt. I've been your color commentator for this series and the next one. Staged, any last words before we head out?
I can't wait to see some more NECC Rocket League. I think this is absolute prime time for the collegiate scene. And if there's more games on the same caliber as what we just saw, I am going to be glued to my seat all night.
Well, you heard it here from stage, so make sure you stick around. We will be right back.